Let's just admire just how much I get Starbucks. Oh my God, that's a lot of stickers. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rachel. I do all sorts of planner and stationery stuff here on the YouTubes, and today we're going to be talking about finding your decorative style to use in your planner. I've already put up a video on finding your functional style in your planner, so I will leave that linked up in the cards. And if you haven't watched that video yet, please go watch that video first because it's definitely going to inform what we talk about in this video. Also in that video, I talk about my planner matrix, which is like a 4-quadrant planner personality quiz that you can take. I have information on it down in the description box below, so please head down there and click the link if you want information on that. That quiz has gotten such a great response. Thank you guys so much for taking it. In the planner matrix, the x-axis covers the functional style, which again I talked about in that previous video, but the y-axis covers your decorative style, and it goes from minimal down to the bottom to much more decorated and embellished up at the top. If you're watching this video, you do fall somewhere on that line, and we're going to talk about how to figure out where today. So if you watched my last video on finding your functional style, you may remember this graph. This graph comes from the planner matrix, which is a video I did basically talking about how I think functional style and decorative style are on two separate axes on a sort of graph matrix. Each of these 4 quadrants has a different combination of decoration and function. If you want to know more about the planner matrix, I will leave a link up in the cards if I haven't already, and you can explore there. But basically, last time we talked about how to plot yourself on this functional line, and then this time we're going to talk about how to plot yourself on this decorative line. So the way I see it, the decorative aspect of planning can either go one of two ways. It can either be minimal, if at all there, or it can be embellished. So minimal decorative planners will have the functional elements be front and center, prioritized, with decoration being little to none. A spread might look like this, for example, where I have a few Starbucks stickers, a few random stickers here and there, and then nicer titles, but ultimately what's important here is the tasks I'm writing down and the notes I'm taking. As you can see, what I'm doing here is really minimal. It's really not very excessive in terms of decoration, and it's just using decorative elements like these fancy titles to help something stand out. So this is what I'm planning, this is what I actually got done, and this is what works for me. Some minimal planners may even have less than that. So this is little to none deco, little to no deco. Whereas more embellished decorative planning would look something like this. You can see there's things taped in, there's washi tape everywhere, there's different types of stickers. I'm doing this is basically like an illustration with text. I have stuff taped in here, you know, all that kind of stuff. This is honestly still pretty text heavy, and I don't have a lot of good examples of what a truly embellished planner would look like, because that's just not me. This is kind of more along the line, like I'm using like mixed media, like there's washi tape, there's sticky notes, there's a pen drawing, there's markers, there's a bunch of stuff. So a more embellished spread will look something like that. And anywhere along this line can look nice or it can look bad. I think that's really important because a lot of people think, oh, I'm a decorative planner, I like my things to look nice. But sometimes you just like to have your planner have like a lot of stuff in it. It doesn't really matter if it looks nice to anyone else but you, or if it even looks nice to you. It can be super messy and it can still be very embellished, very decorative, very focused on the flashier elements and more fun elements of planning. Whereas minimal style of planning can also be super aesthetic. It can be those like really nice, neat handwriting, not very many stickers, only like headings highlighted in a super beautiful accent color, very minimalistic and very aesthetic. Or it can just be pen and paper and scribbles and scratch marks. So anywhere on this line can be really aesthetic and pretty. Anywhere on this line can be really messy and haphazard. It just kind of depends on what kind of volume of decoration you're putting in, basically. Decoration being added stuff, not stuff that comes in the planner, but added on top of the planner's basic layout. So what I actually recommend you do first to find your decorative style is to first find your functional style. I made a whole video about finding your functional style. I'll leave that up in the cards if you want to go watch that. But if you already have your functional style developed, feel free to watch along with me for finding your decorative style. But this video will be here if you want to go watch that and come back. As a quick recap, finding your functional style really means finding what layouts work for you. You know, you might like a horizontal weekly with memo like I do. That's what this planner is. That's what the Hobonichi Weeks planner is. Maybe a vertical layout with an hourly breakdown is actually what works for you. Maybe you like a page per day, or maybe you only like to plan in a monthly section. All of the little systems that we use to keep track of our daily lives and to make sure we are on top of our priorities and getting our goals accomplished, that's all a functional element of planning. So if you don't know your functional element of planning, it's hard to know what decoration can embellish that and go on top of it. It's almost like you want to decide what your outfit is before your accessories are, for example. So if I'm going hiking, I'm gonna put on my hiking boots and my workout pants or whatever, and I'm not going to put on like my fancy bedazzled ring, like, you know what I mean? So finding out what the basics of what you need and what you're gonna actually use are first really, really helps, because then on top of that, you can add decorative elements. This is actually a really good but really minimal example. So in my Hobonichi Weeks, I use the monthlies as basically just a month at a glance. I don't really use them for my personal Hobonichi Weeks. And I would ordinarily write things out like April Fool's Day or Easter or Tax Day, for example, but I added a decorative element on top of that this year because I wanted to be able to highlight them a little bit more, and I thought these decorative triangles were super cute. I know there are lots of people who would consider this a functional sticker, for example, but it just depends on how you use them. It's all decorative if it's added, is my opinion. So anything you add that is decorative on top is part of your decorative style, but it helps to know what you're adding it on top of, which is why I recommend figuring out your functional style first. The second bit of advice I have is to embrace that this might change a lot. This particular planner is a bullet journal that I set up, and I set it up to look super cute. I really like the way it turned out. It was very much sort of like spirituality based, which I thought was going to be really fun. And I wanted to add these decorative elements in, this sort of like scrapbooking collage element, to add some interest and to make it look more scrapbooky. But at the end of the day, I really just went back to my basic pen and paper layout because I didn't like adding the collage elements very much. I just needed something very simple. So I experimented with collage. It didn't work. For a while, I was using a Hobonichi Weeks, and in the weekly section, I had a lot of pen, yes, but a lot of like stickers here and there to mark what I was doing or what habits I was tracking and things like that. And this worked for a while, but I eventually fell off of it after a bit because it just wasn't enough of a focus on what I was actually doing for me. I got too wrapped up in the decoration. It honestly took until 2022 to figure out what my actual decorative style was, and that was because I was trying a bunch of different things in my Hobonichi Weeks. So this is an example of what really did not work for me, was decoration first. This is a Coffee Monsters Co. kit. I've talked about this a couple of times. I love Coffee Monsters Co. and I love her stuff, but when I put this kit down first and then tried to plan on top of it, I just couldn't. I just like literally couldn't. Like I put this down and then I was like, okay, tomorrow I'll pick it back up and plan. And I just didn't. I just left this planner because I couldn't handle the amount of decoration that was on this page. For some people, this is what works. They love this. So try a weekly kit here and there, try the stickers on top of your regular planner, but if it's stopping you from actually using your planner, you may want to let it go. Eventually I realized that something like this works. So I figured out my functional style, which is basically having events, priorities, memories, and notes in my planner. And something like this worked really well, where it was like most of it is about the pen that I'm using. Anything that I'm adding on top is just extra stickers on top of what I'm already doing. This sticker would replace, like, let's go to a different week. Yeah, so in this week, my memories column is just pen. So I can fill it all out with pen, but what I like about decoration and stickers is that they can replace what I'm already doing with pen. It's not like I set up a huge decorative spread and then try to plan on top of that. I just embellish as I go. This week, I added all the decoration in advance, and it really did not work for me because I was struggling to see my priorities through all the decoration. Whereas like, yeah, in these weeks, I just chose a color pen that I liked and I was adding in the stickers as I felt they were necessary. So I figured that out in 2022. And now in 2023, I'm using 2 Hobonichi Weeks with this exact same style. And this is so incredibly functional for me. As you can see, I filled out this whole page and I freaking love it. It looks so good. Same thing here and here. In my personal planner, I'm just filling out these columns and adding the stickers as I need them, and it's very, very functional for me. very good. My second recommendation is to know when you're memory keeping and when you're trying to functionally plan. So what I mean by that is like functional planning is things that help you get your goals accomplished and help you do what you're trying to do and trying to take care of. And then memory keeping is like journaling, basically. I think people use the term memory keeping to describe less of like a paragraph style of journaling and more like a bulleted list or something that's kind of created out of collage and deco. I tried doing that last week in my Sterling Ink Common Planner. I tried to take advantage of the vertical weekly layout to do some vertical like sticker journaling basically, and this was so much fun. So much fun. And I'm definitely going to do it again because I had such a blast this time. But this kind of journaling is not something I would ever do in my functional planner because I need that planner to focus on the tasks that I'm actually going to accomplish. So I have a different style for memory keeping than I do for actually functionally planning, and I keep them separate because this I like to be more embellished and the other one I like to be more plain. So definitely noting your different styles from planner to planner and type of planner to type of planner is going to help you figure out what your style is as well. I also recommend figuring out what supplies you like to use. So here are a few of my favorite pens. These are just some random Tombos I pulled from my Tombow stash. I have so many of them, as so many of us do. But basically these act as like markers and highlighters for me, so I can use them no matter what. And then I also use my ballpoint pen, my Uni Jetstream pen, for pretty much everything in my planner, but I also like the Energel Clena series. And I like the Zebra Sarasa Clip vintage colors when I want a little bit of extra decorative element. This is actually just another, I think this is another ballpoint pen. Yeah, a Uniball Jetstream, but that's slightly smaller in 0.38. And for me, decorative planning often comes down to pens and character stickers. So I carry around with me everywhere this little pack of character stickers, which basically, this is something else, but basically this holds sticker sheets in them, and character stickers are like these little dudes who chill out, and you can just stick them in your planner to express an emotion or an activity. Like these ones would be like for filming and editing like YouTube and podcasts. This one would be for like running on the treadmill, for example. I keep these in a Hobonichi Cousin photograph album case. They sell these on their website, and I always pick up one or two when I'm placing an order. And I just keep my character stickers in here, and they describe what's going on and maybe how I'm feeling. And I really like the combination of just pens and character stickers in my planners. You can see it in my Sterling Ink Common Planner here, how much it works for me in terms of memory keeping, but it also works for me in my functional planner, right? I'm inputting character stickers when I want to be seen or when I want to be witnessed in some way in my planner. It helps me just sort of let off some steam to put down a character sticker down and say, okay, yeah, like I was on the computer all day and I know that, and now I have a sticker there, and I'm sort of like witnessing myself in whatever emotion I'm experiencing. And those are like my favorite supplies to use. So some combination of pens and stickers is what I carry around with me on a day-to-day basis because I know that's really my favorite sort of combination. Other people might really like to scrapbook. So I do like to do a little bit of scrapbooking here and there. I find it kind of hard on the thin paper of the Hobonichi, but I do like to scrapbook, and I often keep supplies. Like this was a piece of wrapping paper that my friend wrapped my Christmas gift in, and he got my Christmas gift from Greece. So this is like all the way from Greece, and I want to keep that and remember the gift that he gave me and maybe use this to mark something in my planner or mark that day. The same thing with this. This is also gift wrapper from a shop that I really like called Art of Play. They do these mystery decks, and basically the deck came wrapped in this piece of paper, and I'm just saving it because it looks really nice and it could be a cute backdrop for some kind of collage or something. But I know myself, I know that like these special things are really all I'm going to be putting in my planner if I am going to be putting any scrapbooking or any decorative ephemera in my planner, because ultimately in my planners, I like to keep them relatively simple. I really do. I do occasionally like to put like full-size labels or, you know, stickers that I get, like the stickers that you get upon entry to like a sports venue or something that says like you're allowed to be here. I like to keep some of those. And if I have the space, it looks cool. It looks really cool. But if I don't have the space, it's really not that big of a deal to me because I know that's only like an if I have room type of thing. Now, just because I like my particular character stickers and pen combination doesn't mean I don't have a billion other supplies. So I have this whole binder here with different scrapbooking supplies that I've gotten basically off of Etsy. Some of them have little character stickers, like on this page. I got a lot of these from Etsy shops. I got a bunch of those, like 100 pack of those like girl stickers, because those were really trendy like a few years ago, and I love those. And then I just got a bunch of different ephemera packs, again, off of Etsy, or some of these are off of Amazon, because I thought I would really like to use them. And I really, really was into the collage style that other people were doing. And so I just bought a ton of them. But my recommendation is, before you buy a ton of new supplies packs and things like that off of Etsy or off of like whatever planner tuber you're following, try and experiment with collaging and decorating your planner with stuff you already have. So I mentioned that I'm keeping these 2 bits of ephemera to stick in my planner at some point because they were from gifts over the holidays. So they have a personal special meaning, and they were also free because I didn't have to like purchase a pack with these things. This is something I just naturally gained throughout my life. But maybe you have extra stickers lying around and you're really thinking about trying a new decorative style. Instead of buying a bunch of stuff, just try to use the stickers you already have, because I honestly spent so much money on these supplies and I do regret it. I don't do enough of journaling in a collage sort of style, and I don't like adding stickers into my planners except for my character sticker thing. So yeah, so don't repeat the same mistake that I made. You're probably going to want to experiment with a lot of different styles of design and decoration in your planner at some point, but don't let it hurt your wallet, because I have all this stuff and I'm still waiting on the perfect opportunity to use most of it, and I just have a feeling that that's not going to come for a while. I just kind of have a feeling. Using what you have, it doesn't mean like buy nothing, but it means buy just like 1 pack and see how it works for you, and try to use up that pack before you buy more, because if it doesn't work for you, then you're going to be left with like only a few items that you have to get rid of somehow, instead of a whole like art school production queue of like items that need to be gotten rid of in some way. And of course that also burns a hole in your wallet. So use what you have. Sometimes that can mean ephemera, sometimes that can mean leftover sticker packets, or you can often also find on like Facebook groups and stuff people selling old sticker sheets or old copies of things that they no longer want to use for a discounted price. So I recommend, if you're trying a new decoration style, to try to find those discounts, those sales, only buying 1 of something at a time and seeing if it works, and then building up your collection from there. Of course, it's perfectly okay to have like a bunch of collage and scrapbooking supplies if it doesn't cause you any guilt. If you just like to keep them around just in case, that's fine too. But you know, we want to minimize guilt. We want to minimize feeling like we have overcompensated for something that actually doesn't take up much of our style or time and doesn't fit with our current style. The other thing that I want to mention, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, to figure out your decorative style is to figure out like what its purpose is, basically. I mentioned when we talked about my Hobonichi weeks that a lot of this decoration was just there to witness myself, kind of. So the little tiny stickers here that I have that are like clear stickers, or the ones that I talked about on my monthly sections where it's just like the little triangle and the little clear sticker, that's a decorative element that just helps those things stand out. So that decorative element has a functional purpose because it's like helping me see at a glance when I have stuff going on, or when I'm posting a video, for example. But for the most part, my character stickers are just there so that I can put something down and relieve a feeling that I'm having. A lot of them look sad. At this day, I was having major couch sads, so I was just like being a couch potato and I was upset about it. On this day, I went on the treadmill for the first time in like ages, and I was so proud of myself, I wanted to put a sticker down. So it's kind of about witnessing my feelings in the planners instead of making the planner look pretty. It's about witnessing myself. A lot of times my decoration is to look pretty though. So this is a particular month that I used all Papershire Studios, or Papershire Stationery, I think is the shop name, all Papershire Stationery supplies, and all these character stickers are from Papershire Stationery. And then I used corresponding colors and tombos along the side to sort of match what the sticker colors had going on. But the basic function of the stickers was pretty much the same. Of course, I embellished down here. This washi tape is also from the washi tape shop. I have a code, it's Rachelle10. If you want to buy some, they'll give you a sweet discount. And I add washi tape in like this to just kind of fill up spaces and things like that. I also have a video talking about how I use washi tape. I will leave it linked up in the cards as well. That's like just 7 ways to use washi tape if you want to know a little bit more about how I use it and stuff. But really, I often find myself filling up empty space with washi tape in a way that looks good. But the majority of my decoration is either has like a functional purpose, or is just there to like relieve a feeling that I have when it comes to what's in my functional planner and what helps me get things done. And I will draw these spreads out first and then add decoration as the week goes on. Probably the only decoration I add at the beginning is like I highlight the days that I'm going to be in the office when I'm using my work planner. And then if I want to change these headings up at the top, like I did, like for example, this is like a fancy brush pen that I'm using up at the top here. And I added that in when I was planning it. But for the most part, my decoration comes after I've already set my plans down. And that just helps me have clarity when I am planning. For some people, setting up the decoration first is what really works for them. So in my Sterling Ink Common Planner, I wanted to move in December, and I just basically replicated her weekly layout. This is what her weekly layout looks like, and I just drew it out myself in the back. And then I added a certain number of deco pieces to each page. So I added this sticker up in the top over here, basically because I didn't want to draw out the calendars for every single week. So I added a piece, like a sticker here for every single week, and I drew out the last 4 weeks of 2022. But that's about as like in advance decorative planning that I can do for myself when it comes to like a week-to-week basis, because any further decorative elements than that just make me not really want to use the week. Like things stay blank, stays empty, and I don't actually go in because it's just too distracting for me. But there are a lot of people who would prefer to set up their week in advance with the decorative first and put down decorative elements either in places they routinely know that they like to put down decorative elements, or in new places or whatever, but it just helps them to put down their decorative elements before they even put pen to paper. The other thing that's worth figuring out is decoration essential to your spread? In this particular week, I'm highlighting out my work hours, and this decoration is kind of essential to my week. Like I could draw an arrow there, I could draw whatever, but I've chosen to do a highlighted, like I think this is like the dark gray Tombow color, and this was essential to my week because it helped to mark something significant. The same thing with these little stickers here that show when I'm uploading a video. That makes that particular thing stand out, and it is essential to the functional planning of my page instead of just being an added on extra element. Of course, I could just write Hobonichi Week Setup, and when I'm out of this sticker pack, that is what I will do, but it just helps to highlight things here instead of having it just be sort of just in pen. So deco can help things pop, it can help things jump off the page, and I think that's why a lot of people like adding sort of more simple decoration like small stickers like this, or just writing their headings in a brush pen instead of writing it in pen. And it's going to be important when you figure out your decorative style to figure out what actually helps you function versus what is just added on top. Because what helps you function, you need to be able to carry that around with you. You need to have like your very own sticker packet that you keep with you all the time, or keep with your planner all the time. So figure out whether you like to decorate up front or decorate after you've already written out all your plans. Figure out what purpose it has for you. Like maybe decorating your planner and stuff like that is a good stress reliever. I definitely felt that with this spread. I did this at like the end of my trip, and it was so much fun to go back and look at all the things that I did and try to express them in stickers and pens and decoration and stuff like that. So it was a big stress reliever for me, but it's only a stress reliever if I do it at the end. It's not a stress reliever if I set up a spread with decoration first. In fact, I literally will not use the spread if I put decoration down first. I just literally will run away from it. Of course, in your experimentation, you're going to be looking for inspiration from other planner creators, maybe me, maybe other people, to see what they do and see if you like what they do and you want to replicate some of the things that you do. And I think that's great. I mean, everybody's artistic style has a little bit of a different flair, and if you can find someone who has the flair that's like most similar to yours and you want to take inspiration from them, I think that's awesome. I just think you need to take that a little bit with a grain of salt, because their purpose in decoration and your purpose in decoration may be slightly different. Even if you want your spreads to look the same, you may have to recognize that, okay, to get my spread to look like a Coffee Monsters Co. spread, I actually have to fill all of that out at the end of my week instead of at the beginning of my week, or I have to set aside 3 hours to do that, or whatever. I think this is especially true with collage, because collage styles vary so much. I mean, I see a lot of the sort of the same like craft paper, doily, girl sticker combination out there in the wild, which is super beautiful, don't get me wrong, but if that is not your style and your collage style is much more messy and much more freeform and has a lot more ephemera, you may want to find people who inspire you to do that, and then find the unique materials that enable you to do that in your daily life, or find how that's going to work with your planning system, because it's going to just help it be more functional and more natural for you. And your style is just gonna emerge over time. It simply is. Like, I didn't know what my style of decoration was until I tried doing it a bunch of different ways. I figured out I liked character stickers way after I figured out I liked fancy pens, and I figured out I liked using them to witness myself way after I figured out I liked character stickers. And what's more, your decorative style is gonna change. Like, you can see these spreads that I have in, I think this was 2021. I am doing it super minimal. I'm just doing like a couple stickers here and there. And then when you get to things like my Hobonichi weeks, my preferred method is to actually like have a sticker for every single day. Yeah, like this is my dream, where I have like a note on every single day just witnessing myself saying how I feel. But I encourage you not to get too caught up in what your decorative style looks like, because at the end of the day, your planner is a tool and it is a place for you to experiment. We want it to be fun. We don't want it to be stressful. We just want you to be able to chill and play around with it and try things. Your planner is an expression of you. It is an expression of all the ways you've changed throughout the year, so don't get too married to one decorative style. If it doesn't work for you, just move on to something else. Just try something else and see what works for you there. And if you want to get really artsy and you are not naturally an artistic person, like, it's okay to just take a class and watch some YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. So many great artists here on YouTube are making free content that you can see and watch and learn from. If you want to get into like the doodling style of decoration, for example, you can totally find classes and things like that that help you do that. But you are gonna only learn by doing. So if you want to learn collage, maybe you just keep a blank notebook around where you just collage in it every now and then, and keep your planner sort of separate and different until you are comfortable enough to add elements into your planner. It's totally up to you, and our decorative styles are going to be so unique and have such unique purposes. Like, I know some people, they want to have their planner look nice so that they actually use their planner, because if it doesn't look nice, they won't actually use it. But your decorative style is going to just aid in the functionality of your planner or add something to the functionality that you've already built in your planner. Maybe you like to color code and that's all the decoration you do, or maybe you add a bunch of stickers, stick in a bunch of ephemera, and what your favorite thing is to look back on all of those things and see what you've done and what weird ways you've put in, movie tickets and stuff like that. That might be super fun for you, and that is great. But at the end of the day, your decorative style should be based on what makes your planner more fun for you to use or more effective for you to use. And it doesn't have to be like anyone else, and it shouldn't be like anyone else. It's your planner. You should make it look like you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got lots of tips and tricks in this video for how to figure out your decorative style. Once again, information on that quiz is in the description box down below. If you take it and you want to share your results, please sound off in the comments, or also tag me on Instagram. I'm at Rachel in Theory over there. And if you want to stay on this wavelength, I have a video on the screen right here that you might like. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you. Thanks for being subscribed, for being awesome, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.